punks from the suburbs. Lit the sky with too much reverb. We're getting the band back together.
Hello, everybody, and happy 50th episode of the Producer's Perspective Live. That's right, everybody. We've done 50 episodes. Look at that amazing graphic that Mary Dina, my fantastic producer, put together. That's a surprise. I hope that's not my only surprise, Mary Dina, because you promised me a cake. Where's my cake? I'm starving, for God's sakes. My wife's out of town. My kid's out of town. I got nothing here. I should literally take this. If I was doing this on my phone, I'd take it into show you my refrigerator, which has like leftover pho from like 3 weeks ago. I have nothing, and I was expecting a cake. I guess that means you didn't bring me one. Anyway, happy 50th episode to everyone watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, all of you. We've racked up thousands and thousands of views on these 50 episodes, and that's awesome. We've also racked up a few $1,000 for the Actors Fund, which is why we're here, which is why I started doing this. So please, if you haven't given yet, please do. In honor of our 50th, yes, 50th, please give $50 or $50,000. I should have said 50,000 first. Please give $50 million to the Actors Fund right now, or $50, whatever works for you. You can also throw stars at us. Don't forget that little fun thing. You can throw stars at us and give us a few bucks that way, which is also fun. But I'm just glad you're here. So whatever you can do will help. I can't believe we're still here, but we are 50 and counting. Will we get to 100? Okay. If we're here at 100, we'll be here at 100. We'll have some fun. Greetings to all of you watching on the replay. I know so many of you watch on the replay. If this is not live and we've already done 100 episodes, I'm sorry for repeating that for you, but that's what you get for not watching live. Last night we had Mara Isaacs on the live stream. Fantastic. One of the smartest women in the business. Came from the nonprofit world, Tony Award-winning producer of Hadestown. Go watch that replay. We talked about the perfect social distance show ever. She did it like years ago, called Theater for One. One performer, one audience member. Can't get any more distance than that. Go check that out and all the replays. We packed this episode with two fantastic guests. We have two guests for you tonight. Jamil Jude, who I just met through my buddy Kenny Leon about a year, maybe a year and a half ago or so. He's the new artistic director for Kenny Leon's True Colors Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. He's a producer, he's a director, he's a playwright, he is everything. He's a fantastic guy, very smart. We're going to talk to him about what's going on down there at his theater, which is in Georgia. So, you know, things are funky down there. So, and we have a bonus guest for you tonight. I don't remember when it was, like a week or two ago, like half of the world, I became aware of this young woman, Mary Neely, who has, look, you can't help but laugh. I mean, that's pretty funny. So she has been doing I smiled. That was the whole point. She was a Something to Make You Smile from like a week or so ago. She's been doing her own crazy videos in her house by herself. They're amazing. We're going to talk about where she got the idea and what she's been up to and how she puts it all together. It's really fascinating. If you haven't seen one of them, you should. If you have questions for Mary or Jamil, please throw them in the comments. Write question, because it helps me from looking like I'm watching the US Open. If I can see question, it just kind of reaches out to me. Okay, what's happening in the news? We talked about Grease yesterday, but we're still talking about it. Everybody is still talking about Grease replacing the Tony Awards. I wrote a blog about it today, but I can tell you there's a lot of chatter about us going rogue and doing something else. So stay tuned. And as soon as I find out more information, even if I'm not supposed to share it, I will. Because that's, what's a little secret between me and everyone watching a live stream. So there's that. Don't forget about the Actors Fund. This is a double-packed episode, so we're just going to get to the guest. I'm pausing because I see that there she is. We're going to bring her on right now. Let's bring on Mary Neely live from Los Angeles. Hi,
Hi.
Mary. It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Although I feel like I've met you and the 87,000 other personalities that you've.
My many personalities, yes.
Yeah. So how are you doing through all this? First of all, forget all the amazing content you're creating. Let's just check in with the actual you. How have you been through this madness?
I've been all right. I mean, it's strange because I live alone, so that's been a bit challenging. But now I have a cat, so that's good.
You got a cat in the midst of this.
Yes, I got a cat in the midst. I got a quarantine animal, like so many. And he's great. Except tonight, he's being a little demonic. You know, he's a kitten, so they have those moods. You know?
Are you going to do a number from Cats, and will the cat make an appearance?
Oh my gosh, you know, you're not the first person who has poised this idea, but you know what? I'm doing The Sound of Music right now, and it's going to be my last, it's the encore, and it's my last set of videos.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about how you got the idea, like what was you got this idea and you just started doing it? Tell us.
Yeah, like at the beginning of quarantine, I wanted something to look forward to. And I have a lot of wigs and really fun costumes and outfits. And so every single night I started doing a routine where I would just put on a wig and an outfit. Like I was going out. Like I was like, oh, it's 7:00, better put on my wig and my outfit. And it started just like a fun trend that I would like FaceTime my friends and we would have a glass of wine. Dawned on me, like I can't really explain the inspiration other than the fact that I was so obsessed with musicals when I was growing up, and I used musicals and would listen to the soundtracks as kind of an escape when I was younger. And I think we all could use a little bit of an escape right now, so I kind of thought, why not bring back that idea and use the filmmaking skills that I've gained as an adult and apply it to and kind of meld it all together, you know?
So tell me this. I read that you were a huge musical theater fan growing up, and then you become a screenwriter. You're an actress as well. You wrote Valley Girl, the remake of that.
Yes.
If you were such a musical theater fan, why did we lose you to Hollywood?
Oh my gosh.
Just a
series. I know. I never thought this was going to be my life, like ever. It just was a random series of circumstances. I grew up in LA and I wanted to leave so badly. All I wanted to do was go to New York and do theater because I loved Broadway. I would go on BroadwayWorld.com every single day after school and read who was in every play, who was directing every play. Like I was on all the message boards, whatever. And then the financial crash of 2008 happened right when I was applying for colleges. And so I had been planning to go to New York or out of state, and it just wasn't possible, like, unless I wanted to be in debt. And I ended up getting into UCLA's theater department, like acting program with a scholarship. And my parents were like, well, if you stay in LA and go to UCLA, like, you won't be in debt and we'll even get you a salvage 2005 Prius. And I was like, you have yourself a deal. So I stayed, but still, even when I was in college, I wanted to move to New York, but it just was like, I started making all these connections here. And then I started booking commercials before I graduated. And I was making a really good income as a commercial actor. And that's been my job for the past 7 years. And so I always was like, why would I leave and start over, basically, if I, you know? So it was always this thing where I just found film in a way that I didn't expect, but I've missed theater so much. And every time I go to New York, I see shows and my heart just like aches. And every time I'm in New York, I'm like, man, I wish I lived here. But
well, listen, I'll tell you why you leave out, because the theater is just better. That's why. It's just better. And now is the perfect time. I mean, there's so many job opportunities going around right now in the theater. Yes. Would we know you from any commercials? Like, what's the biggest commercial you've done? Would we have seen you in something?
Yes, I was the Tide Pods girl for many years.
Mary, Google that shit right now. Let's see if we can get a picture of the Tide Pod girl before the interview is over.
Tide Pod's waitress, I believe.
Tide Pod waitress.
Yes.
Fantastic.
That was like, that's been paying for my life since 2015.
All right, Peter definitely cannot do that. But you talked about all these connections you got out there. But since then, and all these videos, I mean, you've racked up hundreds of thousands of views on these things, right? And including some from some very famous theater people, including.
So amazing.
You've had Lin-Manuel. Who else has watched?
Kelly O'Hara, Matthew Morrison, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Josh Gad.
It's incredible.
I know.
Did you have any idea? Like, what was your wildest dream? Like when you finished the first one, and the first one was Les Mis?
Yes.
I mean, that Heart Full of Love outfit is just incredible. So when you finished it, were you like, oh, this is gold. This is gonna go crazy. What did you think?
No, I mean, I was like, I had fun making it. I really liked it. I was like, oh, this was good. I'm happy with how it came out. And literally I would just send it to my parents and they were like, ha ha, so funny. And I was like, awesome. And so that's literally all I had 800 Twitter followers.
And now you have 30,000 or something, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Mary did find your Tide Pod waitress commercial online. So hopefully it's on the official Tide channel and you get some more money from everyone here watching it.
I don't think so. That's done, but that's cool. If people can still watch it, that's fine.
And now you're using we're throwing this across the stream right now. You're doing a Broadway Cares benefit right now, right? With this last Magnus Opus, you're doing Sound of Music.
Yes. So I was just going to finish the videos when I did the Beauty and the Beast one as my last one on the original thread. And because I really didn't want to keep doing it with songs that didn't have as much like meaning to me. That was like, I think what made it so special was that I have authentic passion for all these songs because I love them so much. So I didn't want to keep repeating the same joke and doing songs that I didn't really have that same connection to. But everyone was so supportive of the first thread and it was so mind-blowing. And I was like, you know what? And someone posted my Venmo and people started paying me money. And I was like, okay, I have to deliver. I got to do it for the fans, you know? And so I thought like, what's the one show or something? Because everyone kept saying like, oh, we want I would watch an entire show of this or whatever. And so I was like, what's like the one show that I haven't done that meant so much to me? And I was like, duh, The Sound of Music. I used to listen to it I used to play the VHS tape every single day after school in second grade until it broke. Like I think the tape broke or something. And so I was like, I have to do The Sound of Music. But I didn't want people to keep giving me money because I'm like, I'm fine right now. There's a lot of other people who need this way more than me. And that's when I decided to partner with Broadway Cares and start my own fundraiser and stuff. And I know you guys are working with the Actors Fund and they have a relationship together too. So it all kind of ties in, but it's been so amazing. I'm almost done posting. So I've started on Friday and then I'm going to end on Thursday morning is going to be my last. It's the encore. It's the finale for sure. And then I'm sorry, but that's it, you know?
I have to ask, why do you have so many wigs? Like what
Okay, funny story. Well, okay, I have a lot of wigs because I just love wigs. I mean, that's the basic answer. But I love Halloween. I go hard at Halloween. Like really, like that's like my time of the year. And I love themed parties as well. So I had like a good amount like left over from that and also random film shoots. But then people gave me all this money and I only had like one guy wig and everyone kept being like, you need more guy wigs. So for The Sound of Music, I bought like a few. I bought like maybe 4 or 5 more just for the new videos.
I love it. Well, they're amazing. All of the videos are amazing. You're an incredible talent. And I've been checking out your website and some of the film stuff as well. And like I put Valley Girl like on my list of like quarantine videos to watch during this time.
Great.
We wish you the
Aw.
best. Look at that. We wish you the best of luck with everything you're doing right now. Continue to make stuff. And I will end this by saying, like, I love talking to you. I've loved discovering all this stuff about you. I am just slightly mad at you. I'm just slightly mad at you for being such a theater fan and not being in the theater. So
I know. I'm mad too. You can be mad at me because I'm mad about it too. So I get it.
here's what I'm gonna do. Like I produce stuff. So next time I have an idea for something, I'm gonna reach out and see if you want to do it.
Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Good luck with everything, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Mary Neely, everyone, do go check out her Twitter page and all the videos. It's just a great reminder of someone who had a passion for something. She did something about it, and look at all the great stuff that happened as a result. People were just Venmoing her money. That is not what she imagined when she started making that video. But that's the kind of stuff that happens when you have a passion, you create something and you put it out in the world. So go support her fundraiser. I love that she's turned her many wigs for good, and she's raising some money for Broadway Care. So go check that out. And now, without further ado, let's bring up the next guest, a fantastic artistic director and a change agent for the theater. Please welcome Mr. Jamil Jude.
Hey, what's going on, Ken?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, thanks for being here. Tell us what's it like down there right now? I'm just very curious about the state of Georgia.
You know, honestly, I refuse to leave my home, right? So I can tell you what our neighborhood looks like. I can tell you what the grocery store looks like at 6:30 p.m. But we try not to venture too much into the city. Still nervous, right? We don't know how this thing spreads or what have you. But it does seem like a lot of smart people, especially Keisha Lance Bottoms, the Atlanta mayor, and a couple other people in the local municipalities are doing the right things by trying to dole out safety measures to make sure everyone stays safe.
Yeah, I remember when this started to happen, I tweeted, like, just because someone tells you you can go outside doesn't mean you have to.
Exactly.
So that's great. So I've been asking all of my guests, tell me, where were you when the virus hit the fan? Like, when you got the news and thought, oh, this is different. What were you doing?
I was in rehearsal at the Denver Center. I was gearing up for a production of Choir Boy, Terrell McCraney's Choir Boy. We were going to take it from the Denver Center. We were going to move it out to a contemporary theater in Seattle. And we were, like everyone else, deciding how do we move forward. And we started having conversations around postponement, and then started whispering around canceling. I remember the exact moment that I realized that this was a thing that, it's going to be like, oh, all hands on deck. I was at a bar, was watching an NBA basketball game, and they shut the game down, and they said, hey, the game is canceled, right? I think it was the pre-broadcast, and they canceled the game. And that's when I got on my phone and said, well, if the NBA is shutting down, something real serious is happening. And I think within 24 hours, I'm glued to CNN. I'm on the phone with my managing director, realizing that we had to do something pretty drastic.
And did you have, what was going on at True Colors at the time? Did you have something going on?
So we're one of the lucky ones, actually, in the sense that our production of Schoolgirls and African Mean Girls, played by Jocelyn Bio, closed on the 8th of March. And I believe like everything on Broadway shut down 12, 13, 14, somewhere around then. So unlike a lot of people in the regional theater, we have those limited runs, unlike Broadway sometimes. So we got ours in, and we were really thankful to get ours in. As a small non-for-profit, that cash flow is so important. So if we didn't have that infusion of cash, it would have been a much more precarious moment for us.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been the artistic director there now? Hasn't been.
I was just telling someone 9 months. Like, this has been the craziest 9-month stretch of my life, and I laugh and I'm comforted because I'm not alone. I was just on a couple of Zoom calls today with other first-year artistic directors, and we were just laughing. I think all we can do is laugh that this is how our first year goes, and there is something to be said that any challenge that comes up after this we can look back when our hair is gray, or in my case, when maybe my beard is gray since I don't have any hair up top. I was just a quick sidebar. I was a little jealous of Mary and all those wigs. I just asked my wife here if we have any wigs. I want to come on with one, but when we're grizzled veterans here at this artistic director thing, I think we'll be able to look back and say, we were able to collectively weather this moment, make sure that our artists are safe and that our patrons are safe, and that we're going back to the enjoyment of live performance.
That is incredible. I knew you were new, but I was like, oh, I think it's been a few years.
I've been with True Colors for about 2 years. So I had the opportunity to learn under Kenny what artistic direction would look like, what artistic direction in Atlanta, and for our specific audience. That was a really great introduction to the job. But as far as officially wearing the big boy pants, just 9 months.
I love it. Kenny's probably playing golf, like calling you, being like, good luck.
Yeah.
Just in time.
It's been the greatest transition to have somebody who who've known. Kenny was really one of the first directors professionally that I saw doing the thing. So I feel really privileged to have someone working at the top of their craft, taking an interest in me. And while he was slightly reluctant to be a mentor, because I imagine he just has a lot of people pulling at him, he was very open with his time. And anytime I called, he'd answer. Even when I didn't reach out, he would just send a text, hey, thinking about you, want to know how you're doing. Let's set up a time for an update. And that meant a lot to me. So to be able to have him pass me his baby, the theater company that he started after he was running the Alliance for a while, meant a lot, meant that he cared and trusted me with the future of the organization. And it's been a crazy 9 months, but really just being at the organization, it's the best job that I've ever had, present circumstance included.
So tell me, oh, I love that positivity. That's amazing. Tell me what a typical day for you was before. Like describe a day in the life of an artistic director. I don't think a lot of people know exactly what that is. And then describe a typical day in the life now.
Yeah. So I would say a typical day is that balance of the artistic vision of the organization while also managing the day-to-day expenses. I have a really great leadership partner in Chandra Stevens Albright. We have a dual reporting structure. It just means that we have a managing director and an artistic director, but we both spend a lot of time making sure that the finances and the strategic plan of the organization are realized. So I would spend my mornings mostly meeting with artists, either an artist that we are in production, giving notes if it was a director, talking with designers, having design meetings. Then I'd probably go into finance meetings, staff meetings. When you are the artistic director, it's really great, especially at a small company like ours. We have so many great staff people who want to do their parts to activate our mission. So our director of education and our development director who's raising the funds and our marketing director. So I'll spend probably the middle of my day meeting with staff, making sure that the directives that I have or anything they need from me, mostly they tell me what they need from me, are getting done. Then ending the day, either in rehearsal or gearing up to go see a show. You want to be an ambassador to the community because that's what we do as a regional theater. We are in support of our community. So I want to know who's making really great work. Who are my colleagues, the other artistic directors, the other directors in town? What are they working on? What are they excited by? So trying to end it there before going home. I have a lovely wife and a 2-year-old daughter here. So, transitioning to what my life is like in a COVID world, it is trying to have Zoom meetings with my daughter pulling at my leg. She often appears on podcasts. Luckily, you hit me up at, after 8, which is bedtime. So she may not make an appearance, but I can't say she might make a cameo. So Mary might have some competition a little bit later because Journey, she's a character for certain.
Listen, there's a reason why this live stream is at 8 o'clock, and it's because I have a 2-year-old as well who just has it earlier because we can't take it for much longer.
Listen, 7:30 was the best.
And you're a writer as well. On top of everything, how do you balance wearing the many different hats? Because you are a director, you're an artistic director as well, a writer. And I always think that an artistic director, as you just talked about, talking about finances, artistic director is also really like a producer. How do you wear those multiple hats?
I think it's about giving yourself grace and know that, hey, this is just a producing moment. Like today, I was weeding through contracts, trying to, we're negotiating rights on a world premiere of a new play. So I'm weeding through contracts today. So today I'm a producer, and I'll talk to other artistic directors on Zoom calls when I'm not working on this contract, not working with the lawyers. But that's just where I have to be comfortable today. And I haven't spent the time that I wanted to. When hearing you call me a writer, had that moment of like, yeah, man, that was my first love. That's how I got into the theater. I wanted to go, naively enough, I thought I could go and move to DC after college and become to DC what August Wilson was to Pittsburgh. I just knew I could go and write 10 plays, easy peasy. I could write 10 plays about what was happening in DC. And it's hard. Writing is hard. So if anybody's out there, writing is really hard. But the fact that I haven't written in a while doesn't mean that I'm any less of a writer. And that's the thing that I have to remind myself, that just because today I'm wearing a producing hat, or over the course of 4 weeks when I'm directing a play, I'm a director, or if I'm wearing the producer and directing hat, hour by hour, it doesn't make me any less one of those other things. I just have to be thankful that I can just sit where I am in the slash and the hyphen that I'm currently existing in, and just try to do that to the best of my ability.
So let's talk about, I have a question here from Barbara Wells, asked, do you accept submissions of new plays and musicals? And I'm going to tag on to that. When you are designing your season, which is really one of the primary responsibilities for an artistic director, right? What do you look for? What types of plays, musicals, forms of theatrical entertainment do you look for at True Colors? And you personally?
So, I think all of it, especially when you are working at a nonprofit organization, the idea there is that you are in service of a mission. So for True Colors, our mission is to celebrate the rich tradition of Black storytelling while giving voice to bold cultures, artists from bold cultures. So we are looking for a place that, generally fit that description. And our vision is to thrive at the intersection of artistic excellence and civic engagement. So the first thing I'm looking for is what's happening in the community, what's bubbling up to the surface in Atlanta or in the nation. What are people looking to? What's happening on Twitter? What TV shows are people watching? What's the conversation on the news channel? And then what are the artists? Who are the artists that are telling those types of stories that we can relate to? So I'm often accepting submissions and proposals from artists, because especially those that are writing to this moment, those contemporary voices, because I want to be able to say something. So then I start to work on a theme and how are we going to tie this together. Currently, True Colors is celebrating our She Griot season. Griot is a West African word for storyteller, and we throw the she in front of it, much like Shiro, just to remind people we are looking to tell the stories of Black women this season at True Colors. So I'm often just trying to find what are the plays that tell a contemporary Black woman story. And it's been really fun. And although we may not get to, we've decided, of course, we've postponed our upcoming production. We hope to get it in within calendar year 2020, but we'll listen to the science. But to wrap up that question, yes, we do take submissions often, and people can hit me up on my email, jjude@truecolorstheater.org. But we're just really trying to listen to what's happening in our community and how can we as artists respond to that. In times like this, especially in times like these, we turn to our artists to help us answer those big questions that oftentimes feel too big or daunting or heavy, or we don't always have the words to acknowledge and facilitate the conversation, and our artists do. They have been since time immemorial, since we've been gathering around fires and telling stories to one another. We've always looked to those griots, to those storytellers, and I'm just trying to use those storytellers to continue to share stories with our community.
I love this approach that you're consuming the news and Twitter and all these things to see what people are talking about. It sounds like a very artistic version of like Law and Order ripped from the headline.
Yeah.
Which is so smart, because look, I'll give a perfect example of this. So I wrote this blog today about Grease being the what's going to be on the instead of the Tony Awards. And that blog got read like 5 times as more as other blogs I've written that I even thought were more interesting. And it's because it's what people were talking about. So what I love is what you're doing is you're literally, it's like such a smart producer choice as well as an artistic choice, because more people will be drawn to your theater as a result, I would imagine.
Well, I think cultural relevancy, you know, I think when I started in this industry, one thing, when I realized artistic direction was a thing that I favored, I wanted to be the artistic director of a culturally relevant theater company. And I don't think I had vocabulary of what that would look like. And over the years, being in DC, moving to Minneapolis and St. Paul, where I worked for several years, and then finally moving to Atlanta, I started to understand better what a culturally relevant organization, and that's just one that responds to the moment. And it's difficult as artistic directors. I'm often picking plays 18 months, 2 years in advance of when they'll be on stage. Wow. But what you're trying to find often is what's an evergreen topic, or what's a play that has multiple legs. Right, a play is never just about one thing. It's if so, then we probably get tired of that one thing after 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so. Plays contain multitudes. So if you're looking for and you're thinking in advance, well, and you need to also be nimble enough that, hey, maybe that play that you've been gearing up for 2 years, or you say, you know what, that's going to be the perfect play. They're going to speak to a moment, and then something else happens. You got to have 3 or 4 in the stable just so you can be nimble enough to shift if you need to. And what's been really great too is that with our seasons, when we have a theme and we can build a theme around it, it really allows us to connect a play to something that's always present. So I've enjoyed that part of the journey of really just being in community, rooting myself into the people who are telling stories, whether it's, again, like Twitter or just knowing what's happening, and then finding the artist that can respond to it. There's always somebody writing something. And if you're listening, you'll be able to help them tell their story on a bigger platform. Do
you expect that to be up and running by the fall? Like, what are you planning on in terms of being able to gather now?
Yeah, we don't think you're going to win any awards by rushing back, right? I think if anything, you put people at risk. First, you put the actors at risk because we weren't in rehearsal. So we're going to have to gear up and do at True Colors, we have about a 4-week rehearsal process before we start our preview performances. So we're going to have to get actors in space, sharing space for about 4 weeks. So there's definitely some safety precautions that need to happen before that. But in Georgia, in Atlanta specifically, our audience base are the ones who are disproportionately affected by COVID-19, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that when we come back, that we have put together the necessary safety precautions so that we aren't perpetuating what our healthcare system has highlighted as a disproportionate effect on Black and Brown communities, which are the audience base that we primarily serve. I mean, that's who mostly comes to our theaters for everybody, right? But that's who often fills our seats. So we are just taking that extra step to make sure that we aren't doing unnecessary harm.
So when you were dreaming about being a theater artist when you were a little kid, did you ever imagine that, oh yeah, one day I'll be talking about hand sanitizer and masks for everyone with our theater logo on it and all sorts of stuff? It's crazy.
Well, I think sometimes I feel a little disadvantaged in that moment. I'm listening to Mary talk. I'm like, well, I didn't study theater in high school. I was a jock. I was a football player. I went to college on a football scholarship. Luckily, I got hurt my freshman year, and I realized I wasn't as good at the college level as I was in high school. So my freshman year, I was able to be in a play, and it was a new play written by a man. His name is Will Arnold. He actually lives here in Atlanta as well. And that gave me the opportunity that, you can tell a story and have an immediate impact to somebody in that live moment. As an actor emotes and they say what they have to say, an audience member receives that, and we all collectively take that same breath. And I was bit by that. I was bit by what you can create in a moment. And in a moment, you can touch someone's life who, before they entered into the theater, had no idea that they would have a connection to a 75-year-old Jewish grandmother because they're a something person who grew up in North Dakota, right, and who had never met anyone from that community. When we take those collective breaths as theater goers and as theater makers, that's the magic. And I think now, because I find myself, talking about mask and hand sanitizer and safety precautions and, percentage capacity that feels safe, I have to just remind myself of that breath when that first breath when the curtain goes up and the audience takes in the beginning of that story. That's what we're fighting for. So that's what gives me a little bit more, that extra oomph that I need to weed through those spreadsheets or to read the 30-page safety procedure and phase, whatever we're in now. I'm looking forward to that next curtain speech and that first collective breath as an audience together.
I love it. What great advice. And also just for all of us trying to get through each day, we may not have spreadsheets to get through, but just remembering why we do it, why we love the theater. And yeah, that first moment back is going to be magical for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so thankful you're here. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
I want our kids to have a play date now, so I don't know
when
I'll be able to get down to Atlanta, but or you bring your daughter up here. But we'll figure
Journey travels with me a lot. She travels with me a lot. So definitely next time New York is ready to go and I'm back up there, we'll have to set that up.
Give it a little time. We could use.
Yeah. Hey, there's no rush. Right? There's no rush.
No, I love that. No awards for rushing back. Thank you so much for being here. Good luck with everything. Stay safe and good luck with that little one.
All right. Thank you so much, Ken.
Yeah, my friend. Bye-bye. Jamil Jude, everyone. Super, super smart guy, super inspirational guy. You can see why Kenny Leon tapped him to take over that very important theater, and he's doing amazing stuff down there. If you're from that area or when you can travel even close to that area, make a detour and go see a show there. It'll be worth it. Thank you so much for this. That's 50. That is 50, everybody. I think these are, by the way, when it's oh, my cake. That is I take a Walmart cake over that thing. What is that food emporium thing? It's okay, Mary. I appreciate it. Jeez. These are Post-it notes. That's how I made my confetti. So I guess a graphic cake. Mary, thank you for your cake. I'm trying to be very grateful. There's something to be thankful today is you thinking of me and my cake, even after I had to remind you. That is 50, everyone. That is 50. That's our 50th episode. We had two amazing guests. Mary Neely, go follow her on Twitter. Dang it. Why do I always screw up at the end? Always. My mouth becomes like cotton blabbermouth at the end. It's stuffed with cake. So go follow Mary on Twitter. Go check out Jamil's and True Colors website. Go throw that theater website. It's such cool stuff they do down there. Go check that out. Tomorrow, who do we have on tomorrow? Oh, I mean, the business of Broadway week continues. Tony Award winning Michael Greif, multiple Tony Awards, right? He's got a few of those. I don't know. Director of Rent, Dear Evan Hansen, Grey Gardens, Next to Normal. Two of this guy's musicals, two of them have won the Pulitzer Prize. You have got to tune in tomorrow to hear what Michael's doing when he can't direct. So tune in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for Michael Greif. What else do we got going on? Don't forget about the Actors Fund. Please do throw some change in the bucket for the Actors Fund if you can. And now we threw some attention to Mary Neely a little while ago with that Something to Make You Smile. I'd like to think we had a little something to do with her viral success. Lin-Manuel who? It was us. No, it wasn't. It was those folks. Anyway, but I am, if you go check out Something to Make You Smile, theproducersperspective.com/smile, we now have I think it's 30 to 40 of these things that'll just keep you smiling and make you laugh. And tonight, man, oh man, is this a fun one because I just love this song. This is all of the casts of Hairspray, like the movie, the live stream, the telecast on NBC, as well as the Broadway. They all got together wherever they are in the world, and they did a version of You Can't Stop the Beat. And look, that song would put a smile on your face even if it was sung by like someone you really didn't like your childhood bully who picked on you in elementary school, Scott Fitzgibbons. Yeah, that was mine. So if your bully was singing "You Can't Stop the Beat," you'd smile. When this cast does, you just will not be able to stop. So go check it out, theproducersperspective.com/smile. If you're Scott Fitzgibbons, I hope you're not watching because I'm still afraid of you. That's it for me, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Stay safe.
Getting